Welcome to the service, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me and the music okay. Got a very powerful service for the community today. We've got a very powerful sermon. A couple of sermons. And that is our beautiful digital ashram right there. And of course, I'm your host, Amish Patel, Canadian Screen Award winner, Writers Guild of Canada Award winner. Come on in, got a very powerful service. I'm riled up, everybody. I'm riled up today. Oh, we got an excellent connection. We're channeling in hard, everybody. We're channeling in. We got a good channel, according to YouTube. The analytics are saying we got a very powerful stream channeling in. So thanks for coming in. Welcome to the service. Got some powerful pontifications for the community today. Can't wait to deliver them. How does it look? How's everybody doing? Oh, we can brighten that up a bit. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me brighten that up. Let me freshen that up for the community. 1 second. How's that? No. How's that? Ooh! Fresh. Feels bright over here now. That's good. Yeah, welcome to the service, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I do appreciate you, but without your loving kindness, we cannot build this ashram. We cannot build this digital ashram, and that's where I'm channeling from. I am channeling from a Church of Loving Kindness, a digital ashram located on an electron cloud in your heart. You want to take a look at it? I got it right here. Hold on a second. That's our ashram. That's our beautiful, beautiful ashram right there. You see that? It's a church of love and kindness. And we're building it. It's on an electron cloud in your heart. What a beautiful ashram. It's huge, eh? We got a lot of stories, a lot of stuff going on in there. A lot of construction going on over here. But that's what we're doing. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, support this ashram, and make a donation if you feel called to it. If you feel it is in your heart. If you hear a pontification that makes you say that is most powerful, make a donation. Make a donation, and remember that every donation you make, the Buddha pays back double in prosperity. So don't forget about that. Can you guys hear me okay though? Chill out, or you okay? Wait, who? What are we at? Peace and love. What's up? Blessings to all. HuffPost.com/entry. Barack, what's up? Thanks everyone for coming. Alessandro's here. CEB Applejack's here with that wrench. Keeping people in line, telling people to chill out, or you're going to get a timeout. You better watch it. Don't come in and try to attack this ashram, because I got a couple of people in there with that wrench. Sophia Green, CEB Applejack doing...
Wow, we're just a little buttercup, aren't we?
Doing the work of God in the comment section, just keeping everyone in check, keeping everyone in line. Very good. That's good. Good, powerful. Got a powerful service for you today, and it's very... Listen, I got a little riled up. Riled up just thinking about it today. So we're gonna deliver it now, and you know it's contentious issues. It's the most important issues of the day for the community. But really, only the righteous pontifications really today are only coming from the comedians. If you look at the pundit class, they are failing. The quote unquote pundit class, the politicians, they are failing. They are not righteous. And I'm going to show you the proof of that today. They are not righteous. The punditry class is not righteous. I thought for a second that maybe Tucker Carlson would be a little bit righteous. I don't know if you guys were like me, but I thought for a month or two he had a powerful run. But I'm going to show you a clip right now that when I saw it, I was like, come on, buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why do this? You know what I mean? Hold on, let me get him. Oh, that's our ashram. Thanks everyone for coming. That's our comment section. Thanks for joining the comment congregation there. Steve is here. Steve, what's up, buddy? I think that's the first time for Steve live. So thanks for coming. Sophia Gibson, what's up? CB Applejack with that ranch. But yeah, I'll be back to chat with you guys in a minute. But first, let's take a look at this ridiculous interview. Hold on a second. This is so sad because I really did think Tucker was bringing the heat, especially on some of his anti-war propaganda, his anti-war commentary. I was like, this guy's bringing the heat. He's being righteous. You know what I mean? He's saying dangerous things. It's risky to say it right now. And he came out with the rips when he first got fired from Fox and he was on Twitter. I really thought this guy got fired for being righteous, even though he's not generally righteous. He's not fully all the way through the past. But I thought this guy, he said, I believe in something, and that's why they had to get rid of him. But look at this.
Town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack
Come on, man.
$250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on the CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So
This guy's a crackhead, by the way. I think he's a crackhead, and I'm not saying that with judgment. With love in my heart, I think this guy is maybe not well, is what the community's
just started
saying.
rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke.
How is this real? This is so ridiculous. And this is why conservatives are dangerous people. They are evil. Because he knows this is bullshit. He's kind of laughing at it. He's doing this like he's doing a sketch or something, but he's really doing it because he knows that this is going to get his community riled up. You know how many people I sent today, the podcast clip, the thumbnail for today's episode, I sent it to people, and they were like, Amish, so what if he's gay? And I'm like, yeah, I know. So what? We're doing commentary on the commentary. This guy is supposed to be the highest pontificator. Even Jay in the comments is like, dude, he really interviewed him? Yeah, he really interviewed this guy. Come on, man. He had Trump 2 episodes ago.
Twice. You had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
The teeth are missing. What's just that? And like, I don't want to be rude to the crack community. But this is, what a fall from grace, man. This guy was ripping, right? He was doing good episodes, I thought. What do you guys think of the Tucker Carlson that came out? I thought he was being righteous for a minute. For like a good month, I was like, this guy saw it. He put on RFK Jr. You know, he let those voices be heard. Very powerful. Trump 2 episodes ago, I don't support Trump. I think he's crazy, but I do think it's a get. Guy used to be the president. He's a front runner for the Republicans. It's a get. You got the president. I think that was his last guess. Now he does this.
The obvious question, what was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama
is? That the obvious question? What was Obama like on crack? He's acting like it's a serious interview.
Obama is just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like, what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't.
Look at he's so dumb. His face, he's like looking at him like, wasn't his first time.
He's bisexual, or like, what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't Islam.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
It's not a story. Right? This is it for him. What like I thought it was I thought he was doing a good show, to be honest. Comedy fan says love it. It is comedy. It is like a comedy. It is like something you'd see in a movie or a TV show. Like in a joke TV or movie, like a show or whatever, you would see someone be like, yeah, we got to take this guy out. What do we do? Oh, I know. Oh, there's a crackhead on the corner. Isn't this a plot of a movie? Oh, he does it in Seven. You guys ever seen the horror movie Seven? It's not a horror movie. It's like a suspense murder mystery movie with Brad Pitt and not Samuel Jackson, racist. Not Samuel Jackson. Oh, so racist. Not Samuel Jackson. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt are in a movie, and they do this. They just get a crackhead to say, like, Brad Pitt breaks into a house, and then they just go around the corner, they pay some crackhead $10, and they're like, hey, can you just say that? Say that you told me that it was suspicious in there, right? And the guy's like, I said it was something was going on in there. I said something's not right, and then he figured it out. Just paid him $10 for crack. This guy Tucker, what are you doing? So you think this guy? I mean, if he truly is like a crackhead, it might be that simple. Is like you just go to this guy and you go like, okay, how much money? Like $50? But this is what makes conservatives so dangerous, dude, because they are so good at just drumming up a controversy. And there's no controversy. The other thing he did that I thought was just not good for the community, quite frankly, just not good for the culture, not good for the community, is he had Trump on, and he's telling Trump, like, I think they're going to try to kill you. And Trump's like, I don't know. That sounds like a lot. And he goes, I think they're trying to kill you. And then Trump goes, yeah, that's good. Let's run with that. And then even Trump was like, don't say they're trying to, like, they're not trying to kill me. Like, Trump's complaining about all these indictments and, like, these Democrats are doing anything to keep me from running and this and that, whatever. And Tucker has now been on 2 shows, even while interviewing him. But it's so crazy that it felt like he pitched it to Trump, and Trump for a second was like, that's a lot. Because it's almost like he pitched him a controversy. He's like, hey, let's make up a controversy that the Democrats are trying to kill you. It'll be sick. And he probably thought, like, should I ask him before the interview? And he said, you know what? It's Trump. He's going to run with it. Let me just set it up in the I'll just set it up in the interview, and he'll do it. And he says it once to Trump, and Trump's like, nah, I don't think they're trying to kill me. And then he goes, the indictments, the this. I think they're trying to kill you. And then Trump's like, oh, that's good. Yeah, they're trying to kill me. That'll get the people riled up. Let's take a look at this. This is our next clip. Yeah, it's too much, man. This is on the Adam Corolla show, Comedian's podcast. So, you know, we honor them. We honor the Comedian's podcast. We think that, I do think, like, the comedians are doing generally the most righteous work. But then Corolla did go hard. I'd almost call him more of a conservative commentator at this point. Let's take a look at it.
Let Trump be president.
Now, of course, I mean, look, if, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean,
they're going to kill him. What's next? Come on.
Graph it out, man.
He's like the hippie now. Graph it out, man. The government is coming after him, Graph it out, man. Graph it out, man.
Then you go to protest. Then you go to impeachment. Now you go to indictment, and none of them work. What's next? I mean, graph it out, man.
Graph it out, man. Do the math, man. They're going to kill Trumpy, baby. Do the math. It's crazy because when he was at Fox, he hated Trump, and he was texting other people like, I hate this guy. Why are we taking this idiot seriously? Like, he was texting other people like that. But now he knows this is why these conservatives, they just can't be trusted. They're too powerful with the media, honestly. They really are. They're too powerful with the media. They're too good at the brainwash. It's too slick, man. Because this works, goddammit. It's almost like if you want to get a job at Fox News, they basically sit you down and they just say, part of how you become a good conservative commentator, I think, is you have to be able to make up conspiracy theories that get the people riled up. And it's just got to get people mad, and they're going to do so. They're going to go crazy, right? And then you get this, like, fanatic base. So it's like you're trying to work at Fox News, right? Imagine the boss says this. They got 5 people that are trying to work there. He goes, okay, Obama's gay. Find the evidence. Give me an article in 20 minutes. And that's it. Then you got 20 minutes. You got to go figure it out. You come back. The first 2 guys, the CEO says, We're not doing aliens right now. We're not doing lizard people. These two are no good. You got a crackhead who said he sucked his dick 10 years ago. Let's get that guy. That's good. Let's run with that. Let's put that on in. My editor's gonna look at it. Let's put that on in half an hour. Let's put that on it too. Let's lead. Let's lead on it. Let's go. That's basically how you have to do it, I think. They're willing to just make shit up. It's crazy. Let's continue this. So what I really love is when he pitched it to Trump, and then Trump's like, yeah, let's do it. I think that's how I remember it. It could be wrong.
We're speeding toward assassination, obviously.
Obviously.
And no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided permanent war.
Mitch Vintage says they don't make them up. They are all based on some kind of truth. Of course. That's why you can't do lizard people yet. Lizard people is not QAnon though. QAnon, it was alien based and still got big numbers. So yeah, to be on Fox News, you can't go totally fabricate. No, but it has to be some truth. Yeah, of course. No, even like the conspiracy that the Hawaiian wildfires were started by a laser in the sky. Like I said last episode, it's not literally true, but metaphorically, there's truth to it. There was a systematic screwing up of the situation from the upper class, like a laser destroying the community. Metaphorically similar to like a laser in the sky destroying the community. It's not literally true, but there's something there, I think. Steve Bearwald says, narcissist, man, they're intuitive manipulators. Yo, 100%, Steve. They're so good at it. These psychos, dude. And we got to fight back. I don't know how we're going to... Let's keep going.
Washington, both parties have decided that there's something to reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have it.
Okay, this is bonkers. I flagged this immediately after Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson.
I don't really believe. I think he. Well, I
That Epstein was.
I love this commentary, by the way, dude. The Hill is the best political commentary on the internet. You know, I feel bad saying this, but I thought Crystal and Saga, right? I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about YouTube politics world. I thought they were what made The Rising good. The Rising's pretty banger now. They have a libertarian, and then they have this woman who's like a black activist who was Bernie Sanders' campaign manager, and she has her own podcast. What a matchup! Every episode, sparks fly. This is the formula, man. You get a conservative, you get a liberal, and then you got to mix the genders. You know, in the 80s, 90s, they did this conservative versus liberal thing. Didn't really work. It was kind of hack. It used to be hack. But then when you make it conservative, liberal, mix the genders, now you're adding the sexual tension. It's spicy. Every episode's spicy with these guys. They know how to engineer the spice. They know how to put. It's like they put like a. It's like putting two animals in a cage. They're gonna fight. It's like it is like that. They just put two people who who like politically can't stand each other. So every story they got it. It just gets spicy every time. I love. This is incredible TV. I think this Rising. It's the best. It's better, I think, than. Yeah, Breaking Points is kind of selling out right now. They're kind of going corporate, and I don't like it, and we'll talk about that after. But let's continue this. This is amazing.
All these important people in the world. And I think that you might also have a target on your back. I think we have a bit of that clip. Let's watch it.
Do you think it's possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people, there are many people, I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. I believe everything I hear.
At all?
But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved.
How is he not? Yeah, it's so weird when people do that. It's like, no, for sure, Epstein was murdered. Maybe he doesn't know about it. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he's a narcissist. He cares about himself. He's not looking into the case. Honestly, I think that shows that Trump is one of the few people who didn't bang a 15-year-old on Epstein Island. Because I think Clinton, it looks like Clinton might have, allegedly, I know, all these other politicians were compromised. He basically was blackmailing them with videos of them banging. Bill Gates. 100%. Billy Gates. Little pervert. Yeah, he was there. Everyone was there. I think Trump is so cool with this because he's like, never into that guy. I think he didn't go. What do you guys think? You think Trump went or not? What's the poll? Let's make a poll. Let's get some audience involvement here. Start a poll. Did Trump go to Epstein Island? Yes, no. Boom, done. Start poll. You guys should see that in a second. You guys see that? Put the poll in, and while you're doing the poll, hit the like. God damn it, do your karmas. Let's continue this.
But I can tell you, a case could be made either way, but it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice.
Right.
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they? Honestly.
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick.
Okay, so why wouldn't they try to kill you? Why wouldn't somebody try to kill you?
Wow. No, same. I feel like Tucker's out of control with this. That quick, eh? People just fall off that quick. Even breaking points, I was shocked. Someone in the comments said breaking points is mainstream media LARPing as independent media. Oh, CEB Applejack, of course. You are familiar with the community, brother. They are selling out right now, aren't they? That interview they did with that millennial kid, that pro-Biden millennial kid. Oh my God, it's so annoying. What are these idiot kids? I can't believe my good friend actually, who I love her. I love it's my good friend. She's a Canadian legend. She's been a puppet. She's been a puppeteer in Canadian TV for years, whatever. She's in her 50s. And I love her, but she sends me this video the other day, and she she sends me this video, and she goes, "Oh my God, it's so true." Like, that's what she put on as the caption of this. She's like, "Oh my God, well spoken," something like that. And I'm like, I love you. They got you. Let's hear it. I haven't even watched it, but I hate this girl. I think this girl's such a hack political commentator that I just can't stand her, and I know it's going to be hacked. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to watch it with my community. Let's watch it.
All of American history, we've only had 4 indictments of a U.S. president, and they all happened to the same man this year. So at what point are we going to stop pretending that this is normal? At what point are people going to stop trying to spin this? When will our media finally stop giving both sides and just lay out the facts? When will we stop putting liars on TV or allowing media networks to broadcast propaganda and call it news? At what point are we finally going to call a spade and be like, holy shit, we made a big mistake? The Republicans allowed a criminal to become their standard bearer, and they are scrambling now, throwing everything at the wall to try and justify or distract from what they knew to be true. We all knew from the beginning.
I mean, that is true. That much is true that he is a scumbag. He's a criminal, Trump. And the Republicans, even though they don't like him, they don't like losing, and he's winning in the polls, and he's the only one who could beat Biden. So if things stay the same, which they probably will, because he's almost too powerful of a character, he's probably going to be the Republican frontrunner. So she's got a point on that. The Republicans need to take some responsibility here. It's like, this guy's a scumbag. You guys are supposed to be tough, but he took your shit over because you... That's the problem with conservatives, that they're all tough until someone's tougher than them. And then once they get the smackdown from... Like, they're like bullying. And then once they get a smackdown from like, oh, this guy's the alpha, then they're like, okay, yes, you are number one. You know what I mean? Whereas liberals are different. Whereas liberals don't kind of like authority. I don't know. They are very, like, they do believe in their authority, I feel like. So they can't stand up to him.
Beginning who this man was. And if so many hadn't personally benefited from Donald Trump, we might have avoided this. if his shady business dealings had actually been looked into, if someone had followed up on his taxes, on the dozens of sexual assault allegations, on his racist behavior towards his tenants or calling for the death penalty of the innocent Central Park Five, if we had just cut him loose when he mocked a disabled reporter or called Mexicans rapists or bragged about grabbing women by the pussy. We knew who he was, and we let it continue. We gave a narcissistic sociopath with no platform or moral compass, questionable business dealings, and sketchy foreign relationships access to the highest levels of government of the most powerful nation in the world. We made the thinnest skinned man practically untouchable. We can't be that surprised he didn't want to give it up. So here we are with American democracy.
Wow, she goes on, eh? I thought these were 1 minute only. This is more than a minute. Let's keep going.
Democracy literally hanging by a thread, with the leading Republican candidate for president indicted on everything from conspiracy against the United States to espionage. And he is still being supported by people who choose power over morality, ruling over governing, and profit over truth. This country is sick, and we need to break the fever. So remember that the DC indictment includes the fact that this president and his allies were willing...
It is a sermon. You know what I mean? I gotta say, like, the delivery and everything, it is a sermon. Like, she's passionate. But it is a little bit like, because all of her videos, like those other two 20-year-old millennial, like, pro-Biden millennial kids, all of her sermons end with, like, that's why you have to vote for Biden. The only choice is Biden, that means. I said it. I laid it out. I gave you all the arguments. So that means the only thing to do now is only vote for Biden. Don't vote for anyone else. And it just excuses Biden. That's how I feel. So I think being a political hack is hacky. You're not supposed to be a political hack. And the reason why the Democrats suck is because they have this blind support from people who are not even... I'm sure she's getting paid by them, but, like, she's not even officially with them. She just started this as, like, I love Biden so much that I'm going to make these videos. It's like, I don't want to...
to declare martial law and use the military on American citizens to put down any uprisings after they illegally stayed.
I mean, Biden put a lot of black people in jail. You can talk about it? That's the problem, is that it's the context is missing. It's like you got to put it in the context of of every American president has been extremely violent and has been repressive on black people. Like, it's technically, actually, I think, as far as, like, deaths, like, as far as people who died, I think Obama killed more people, started more wars than him. And then even now with Biden, because if you count Ukraine war deaths and you put it on Biden, which is, you know, I think fair, we're talking hundreds of thousands. I mean, it's a lot of deaths on Biden's watch. Whereas Trump, I think he stayed out of it mostly. He did a couple, but ultimately, I think in God's tally, I think he's going to look at it and be like, well, you killed a bunch of people. Like, Trump did a Muslim ban, but Obama did a Muslim bombing. Like, he bombed them and killed them. So, yeah, I don't like this. I'm over it. I'm over this, like, supporting Democrats. It's bullshit. Even liberals in Canada, I'm not with it.
Stayed in power. This is the same man telling us that should he win again, his plan is to centralize the power of the federal government around the presidency and purge anyone who isn't 100% loyal to him. He's telling us he wants to be a dictator, and we are acting like this is just another election. The DC case is federal, the Georgia case is state, but both indictments lay out a detailed case of a criminal conspiracy to defraud the people of the United States. Every single thing you've heard about election interference, ballot irregularities, fake ballots, stolen elections, corrupted machines were lies and projections from the party who wanted to stay in power against the will of the voter. Now, obviously, Donald Trump can never be given power again, but neither can the party who allowed this to happen and continues to support him.
I don't know, man. It's hard to just go along with this. It's like, I feel like I'm being manipulated here. Where it's like, yeah, but you're not saying any of the things that your guy did. You're not saying that he supports the war machine that kills so many more people. That you're not saying that he put all these black people in jail. The Democrats are no better. That's what I texted my friend who sent this to me. I'm like, what is the okay, yeah, this is all true. But this is true for both parties. Sorry. It's such an inconvenient truth for people, because then people are like, well, then I have to do work or something. Like, it's like, yeah, I guess you do. Maybe you got to get involved and fix it. Or I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you have to do something. You could just be like, fuck both of them. Because that's the other thing, is that they think they're helping the Democrats, but really, this is why the Democrats are spoiled little brats. Their mind is rotten. Same with just Trudeau in Canada. It is rotten. The mind is rotten. Blind support, man. They can't. It's like giving your kid money. It fucks them up, right? You can't just blindly support these politicians. They're scumbags, and they're all assholes now.
Now that they know what he's done, we right this ship one way, by holding everyone involved accountable and by decimating the party that endorsed it at the voting booth. Senator Lindsey Graham was right when he said, if we nominate Trump, we will be destroyed and we will deserve it. Well, you did, you are, and you do.
It's too righteous. I don't like it. What do you guys think? Oh, let's go back to our Trump poll, though. Let's see our poll. 75% say yes. Well, then the people have spoken. The people have spoken. Trump did go to Epstein Island. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you guys think so, right? Maybe I'm being too pro-Trump here. I don't know. Not that I am. I think he's a scumbag for sure. But, like, I thought that with the Epstein thing, he just wasn't involved. So that's why he was like, yeah, go, you know. He wasn't there, so maybe he was like, I don't care about it. But let's talk to our congregation real quick. Let's look at our ashram. Look at our beautiful, beautiful ashram. Located on an electron cloud in your heart. It's beautiful. I mean, there's so much source energy. The rocks are dancing. So make sure if you're watching this and you feel a joy in your heart, hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell your friends. You know what I'm saying? Let the whole community know that what we are doing here and the importance of what we are doing here. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. That's a good way to do comments. Look at that. Mitch Vintage, he's an actor just like the rest of them. Yep, he did not go to the island. Relic 1. Well, yeah, but facts is facts. Relic 1, I always thought that he didn't go to the island. I always thought that he was clean on that one. That's why he was like, yeah, book them all. I thought Trump was the kind of guy that would, like, get a hooker. Or, you know, like I think Trump would be I know this is crazy. Like, I feel like he would be satisfied with a 19-year-old hooker. That's why, you know what I mean? Because if you're that much of a scumbag, you don't need to hide and go to Epstein Island. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Where he always has been a bit scummy. He's been publicly like, I don't give a shit from day one. He's a con artist basically, and he's always been a mean guy. So the idea that he would be like, oh, let me go to, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would be like, I got hookers. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the feeling that I get with him. That he would just be like, I got a hooker. I got great hookers here. I don't need to go to that. Yeah, and then it's, how old are they? Yeah, I'm good. They get a 19-year-old every year, and honestly, it's enough. It feels kind of weird. Even the 19-year-old feels a little weird. So I don't need to go 15. I'm good. He seems like that kind of guy. I don't know. That's just kind of opinion. But 75%, yeah, there we go. I thought the only thing with Epstein that involved Trump was that they march in Mar-a-Lago. They met in Mar-a-Lago. That's what I thought too. He is the type of guy to know better, but be involved, but profit of the whole thing. Yeah. No, maybe I'm giving Trump too much credit, because if you look at this last indictment where they indicted him for having the documents, he did do a lot of dumb stuff there. You know what I mean? Like, he just took the documents and he wouldn't respond to the FBI, and it's like, what a waste of an indictment. What a waste of his time. He's going to spend 100 hours in prison because he just wouldn't give them the stupid documents. It's like, just give them the documents, man. What are you doing? I'm going to play a new track today. It's called Drop the Tapes by Track Tribe from the YouTube Creator Library. And you're listening to the Drip, 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 Dip and Dip on YouTube. I don't know if I like this. Yeah, I like it. Track Tribe, check them out. Mitch Vintage, there are many pictures of Epstein and Trump together at parties. They were friends, they ran in the same circles, they are elites. Yeah, Mitch Vintage, I think that's what it was with him. But as far as doing something, with an underage child, I feel like he's kind of like, nah, I'm good. That's the sense that I got. By the way, how's my voice to the music? I'm gonna change this music. It's too distracting. Let's do. This is appropriate for a Eshram, but not for a Friday. It's Friday. Let's get something silly here. I gotta play that when I do something. When something sad happens, I gotta play that. That's good. This is Upbeat Happy Synthwave by New Dawn from the YouTube royalty-free copyright creator YouTube library. On the drip, 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 rip and dip on YouTube. What's up, everybody? Let's do... There's something I want to show you about the French Prime Minister. This is like an old clip I found. I'm reigniting my love of colonial history and Africa and India and all that stuff. And so I found this great clip and like, man, it's crazy that I tell people about this. And they're just like, nah, can't be. They just don't believe it because they think like, it can't be. We can't be colonizing Africa still. There's some people that don't want to buy it. They don't want to believe it. They're like, no, we wouldn't do that. They have that kind of an attitude. And I just feel like it's important. It behooves us to tell the community what is going on. Let's take a look at it. This is from a couple of years ago, but it's very relevant to what's happening right now in Africa, in Gabon, in... Relic 1 says, look up Whitney Webb and the picture gets more clear. Yes, I think I have heard Whitney Webb on Jimmy Dore Show, some show, and she was even saying that Trump is not so, But that's interesting that 75% of people thought Trump was also on the island. It's like, you just assume he's a scumbag and you just think he's thick as thieves with the rest of them. That's the sense that I get, is that he's more of like a hooker guy. Or... Yeah, I feel like that's where he would go with it. I don't think he'd do the underage thing. I don't think so. I feel like Bill Clinton didn't go underage either. I thought Bill Clinton was just banging Ghislaine Maxwell and doing like corrupt deals and doing that stuff. I thought he didn't go for the underage. That other pervert lawyer, 100% think he did it. Bill Gates, 100% think he did it. Bill Gates, I think, you know what happened with Bill Gates is that I feel like on day one, Epstein got a video of him like making out with a 15-year-old, and then he probably the next day, and then Bill Gates left. He was like, wow, what a great time. It was so fun. Anytime if you ever want me to come back, I had a great time tonight. Thank you. And he leaves, and then probably Epstein texted him a video of him making out with a 15-year-old, and he said, gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch. You're fucked. I think that's what Epstein did. I think Epstein said, you're fucked. I got pictures, I got video, all HD. And we have proof that you came here. And we have pictures of you just around the house on the day. And the girl has written a sworn testimony saying that you banged her. And she's 15 years old. I'm gonna need some help with my taxes, I need a $4 billion grant. That's basically what I think happened with Bill Gates. I think Bill Gates did it, and then the guy said, I gotcha. And then Bill Gates texted back and saying, okay, can I keep banging the girls? That's what I think probably happened. I think Bill Gates probably thought about it for a couple hours and said, he's got me. Can't get out of it now. And then he probably sent him another text saying, I'll give you $2 billion and I want to keep banging the girls. That's what it probably happened. The guy probably said, I need a $4. He probably texted a video of Bill Gates banging a 15-year-old, and then he texted him saying, gotcha, bitch. I need a $4 billion grant. Get it done 2 weeks. Bill Gates comes back and says, well played. How about $2 billion and I get to keep banging the girls? Epstein texts back, I need cash in the account by Tuesday, or I leak the footage to the media. Bill Gates says, look at your bank account. It's already in there. So can I come by tonight? That's it. Bill Gates, locked in. And now the wife left him. Yeah, no, it's too bad. It is Kali Yuga, people. We are heading for a great war, a great suffering in this world. And you can see the roots of it are in colonialism and neocolonialism. And I think I have the clip to prove it right here. This is Macron, the Prime Minister of France, just being a little dipshit while he's visiting Africa. Let's take a look at it. I found this very offensive, that these idiots think they're goddamn comedians. And they're just like joking around and they're having a silly time. Joking around, having a silly time, and this bothered me. So let's take a look at it, and I'll tell you why it's important for the culture, for the community. Let's take a look at it.
You speak to me as if France was still a colonial power, but I do not want to take care of electricity problems in the universities of Burkina Faso.
See what he does? He's like, you're acting like I'm still colonizing you. But I don't want to pay for your electricity.
As if France was still a colonial power, but I do not want to take care of electricity problems in the universities of Burkina Faso.
And then he gets the cheer somehow. This is what's really offensive. Then he gets the cheer somehow, and now look at him. He's like going full comedian now. Look at the goose. That's where he's going too much. It's going to his head. This happens to comedians, by the way. If the crowd's getting too hot, you start like you start getting the energy. It's a high vibration. The vibration's coming in you, and you can see it. He's just like, you like that? You like that? I got more where that came from.
That's his job. That's the job of the president.
Oh, he thinks he's so funny. He thinks he's doing like a little comedy routine. And I don't know why the people there are laughing with him. It's so insulting. How could he do this? This is like if the Prime Minister of the Prime Minister of England, UK, went back to India and said, You think I want to keep running this place? It's a dump. We've been gone 50 years. You guys can't do shit without us. I'm not coming back here. Fucking fix it. Huh? This place sucks. It's been 50 years since we left. You can't clean it up? Clean it up a little bit. See all those guys taking a shit on the road? Give them a broom and get them cleaning. Jesus Christ. You think I want to colonize this shit again? I don't want it. That's it. That's like if the Prime Minister of England went to India and said that, that's what it is. But England Prime Minister would never say that. They go to India and they're like, so sorry, what we did is wrong. You are thriving and you are prosperous and we support you. Whatever. That's what I feel like they do. Are they going to give the jewels back? No. They keep that in the museum. Jewels that they stole from the Indian kings or whatever. But you could think of that as like one colonizer taking from another colonizer. Come on, honestly, like those kings in India, they were, and they weren't much better. And this is why, if the Prime Minister of England went to India and said, you think I want to take this back? It's a dump. You guys are better off when we did it. If the Prime Minister of England could go to India and do that, and there could be a cheering crowd in India. Honestly, there's people, conservatives I know, and I've told you guys. My cousin, I was saying something about colonialism to my cousin, came from India, and he goes, and I was complaining about it. I was like, the colonizer take everything, brother, something like that. I said something like that, and he goes, but Amish bhai, without a British colonizer, the Indian have no management. They need it. I swear to God, dude, this guy says this to me. Have I told you guys this before? He says this to me, and then I'm like, dude, he's in Canada, right? He runs like 6 water treatment plants. You're the manager. He goes, without the British, we don't have a management. And I'm like, dude, you're managing great. And not only that, he's a manager of like 5 water treatment plants. They're asking him to do more. And the guy only hires brown people. It's so twisted, right? He won't hire a white guy because and then if you say, I even asked him, I was like, you only hire Indian guys? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, what if a white guy came? He's like, say, we want people who can work. That's what he said. So it's like the insults are going in all the directions. We can't take it so seriously. Like it's like the insults are going in every direction. But it's still like, yeah, he needs a guy from India that he can call at 4 a.m. and be like, you get up, idiot. We got work to do. Like, you know what I mean? He can't do that with a white guy probably. So that's it. Why are they cheering? He's in Africa. They should be murdering him like they did to Gaddafi. They should be dragging him through the streets and killing him. What a piece of shit to go back while France is stealing their resources. As we speak, you know how much they could sell lithium for? Apparently in not Gabon, but not Burkina Faso. What's the main one? Niger. In Niger, they could be selling if they just sold their lithium not to France, they're rich tomorrow. The price difference, France, with this neocolonialist shit, with controlling their currency and controlling their resources, to this day, steals half of the, like, not half. I always think it's half because that would be reasonable. It's like 80%. They're keeping their electricity on in France with free African resources and energy, the lithium or whatever. I think it's the lithium that they use for their nuclear power plants. But Niger has to sell it to them for, like, I saw the price difference. I can't find it anymore, but I saw the price difference. It was like in like francs. It was like they were selling it for 2 cents, and it can actually be sold for like $2,500. I swear to God, the number difference was that big. They were selling it to France for like 25 cents per little, like, per unit, like per like kilo like whatever kilogram, whatever. And the international rate they could be getting, it was insane. It was like 25,000. It was 2,500, 25,000, like somewhere on that multiple level of, like, they could be getting like 25,000, and they're selling it to them for like $20. And that's France's partnership. They're like, no, we made a deal. We made a deal that we're gonna keep these. Like, they basically said, we'll keep troops there, and we'll make sure that your government doesn't get taken over by whatever. But in exchange for that, they basically hold like puppet governments there. Actually, there's a great clip I want to show you of someone else. But, the reason I think it's so important is that even my friends, like, who I think are liberal, they tell me they're liberal, and I'll tell them that, like, the French are still colonizing Africa. Like, they have 7 countries in Africa. They control their currency. They control their resources. They basically teach them French in exchange for, like basically now you can't, and control their currency, whatever. They give them nothing, and they take, like, so much, and they've been doing it since, like, people call it neocolonialism because it's like halfway there. I was telling a friend of mine, and he goes, "Oh, Amish, what are you, far left? What are you watching, far left materials? Come on, Amish." And it's like, people don't know. But I'll show you the proof of it in the next video. Look, he's drinking water like he's like. So that's it, because usually people at comics drink water when the crowd's too crazy. So basically, he took a spot, like, this is such a flex to stop for water, because the crowd's so hot that it's like you sip the water, and then now he's coming back with more rips. What a piece of shit, man.
On the other hand, I reassure you. Oh, what's this? He's going away. Stay there.
The Prime Minister left. Okay, you know what happened? I think their air conditioning cut out. I think what happens is because these guys send all their natural resources to France, because France can't run their nuclear power plants without stealing all their shit. So because they're sending all this stuff over there, they're having regular power outages. And then because the French have even a deal with them that, like, not only do you have to sell it to us, you have to sell us this much. So these guys have to sell all of it over to France. And so it literally is like, no, you're stealing their resources, and now they can't keep their lights on regularly. But India was like this too. When I first went to India, they would have electricity 2 hours a day. And in the West, we're sitting around like fat cats, all day electricity. Now India has all day electricity. But when I was a kid, and this is the nature of colonization, people, this is it. This is it. All the countries that were poor are still poor. All the countries that were rich are still rich. But India could take over the West, and that's going to be a very interesting time.
Maybe he's off to repair the air conditioning.
Oh my God, dude. People love air conditioning so much that if you do an air conditioning joke, I got to write some air conditioning jokes. Honestly, because people who love air conditioning are just like, kill me without the air conditioning. You know what I mean? And he really preyed on that in a vulnerable moment where these students who don't probably know much about politics, and he's coming in talking shit, and they're like, yeah, our electricity got cut out. Yeah, fuck this guy. Bunch of university students. They don't know better. And then he's acting like he's some great comedian, like he came up with this great joke. What do you want, me to pay your electricity bill? Come on, guys. You're taking their shit. Okay, cool. Let's watch the net. I have another video on this, and it's very important. It's from a great YouTuber named Richard Medhurst.
Now, why is
Let's watch this. Just to give you a context of what these people do. This guy always has the rips. Why France needs Gabon. And in the title it said, you know why. But they never let me here. Let me show you the thing. That's it. You already know why. This is the clip we gotta watch, I think. I think this is the one.
Now, why is Gabon important? I mean, you know, with Niger, I mean, it was kind of obvious, like the relationship with France is it's about uranium mostly. This France-Afrique or Franc-Afrique is like, it is neocolonialism after, all these countries post-World War II were getting their independence. The French solution to that was kind of, get get all these rich businessmen in French businessmen in Africa together and their contacts and make a network of people and then put stooges in their place. And then basically you can run Africa while making it look like these countries are independent. Look at the natural resources in Gabon. Manganese, diamonds, gold, uranium. It's the largest leading producer of metal in Africa, of the metal in Africa, and ranks 6th globally in annual manganese production. The northeastern region of Gabon, it has huge iron ore deposits. When it comes to oil and gas, it has the 6th largest proven deposits of oil on the continent. As time goes on, and they're able to...
So literally stealing their resources, and then he goes and he's like, what, do I gotta keep your electricity on?
Find more of these deposits, it'll fluctuate. But nevertheless, Gabon is top 10 in Africa, right? That doesn't change this fact. So it has an estimated 3.6 billion barrels of oil reserves. Oil is...
Yo. Free Thinker says, watch British crying over India moon mission. Next topic, let's watch that.
Oil's largest exports, and it's the country's chief foreign exchange earner. Crude oil accounts for about 19...
Free Thinker, can you send us a link to that? That sounds amazing. Oh, no, wait. I can actually copy and paste your thing. I think I got it. Let's watch.
6 of the country's total exports to the U.S. And it has large deposits of natural gas, which are estimated to be over 28.3 billion cubic meters. They're trying to diversify the economy and so on, but whatever. The point is that Gabon is very, very rich in resources to the point that its entire economy depends on it. It's so obvious what's happening. It's so obvious. Like, this is actual decolonization. It's happening now. It's not this like crap that they write in history books. Oh, it started in 1945. And nothing happened in 1945. There's no decolonization. That's rubbish, complete rubbish.
Fucking rips, dude. He's great. How UK media's racist rant on Chandrayaan's success. Oh, wow, dude. Okay, let's watch the first one. You see, the colonizer is finished, huh? The colonizer is finished. Look, they are crying. They are crying because we are rising above them. The colonizer is finished.
I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021. We're also set to give them 50...
Whoa! They give money to India? Foreign aid. Huh. I mean, they should, but that's great. I mean, for what, yeah, that's fair, I guess, right?
£7 million next year, but I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that.
He quickly transitioned into a jealous racist rant.
From the Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman.
We should not be giving money to countries with a space program. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out.
Wow, dude, this guy's going on a rip, eh?
India reportedly has 229 million people living in poverty. According to the UN, it's the highest number anywhere in the world. It's also the 5th largest economy in the world with an annual
Great topic, baby. Great topic.
Wow, we're just a little buttercup, aren't we?
That's good. Great topic. Thank you for this. This is
GDP
very
of around
important for the community.
$3.75 trillion. Why are we paying to help poverty-stricken Indians when their own government won't bother?
GB News. Oh, that's it, right? This is GB News? Why is he such a hater? As India etched history with its Chandrayaan-3 mission, congratulatory message came pouring in from all parts of the world. Huh. Nice. However, UK media went on a ranting spree with shocking comments about India's moon mission exhibiting its inherent racist agenda. UK media! Didn't say UK conservative media, just said UK media. I feel like the rest of UK media was probably like, oh, okay, great. Wow. He said during his news bulletin about India's successful lunar mission. 2.3, but they drained India of resources for 250 years. I wonder how the 2.3 billion compares to that, though, with inflation. It can't be close. It's not even close, right? India was 25% of the world's GDP when they took it over, and they drained all the wealth and sent it to England over 250 years. That's why a lot of people say that the other kings that ruled India are actually better because they actually stayed in India. So as much as bad as they were, the wealth just kind of stayed and cycled in, whereas England took it all out.
I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021.
Oh, that's over 5 years? Come on, dude. It's nothing. 2.3 billion in foreign aid? If it's going to feed poor people and stuff, that's actually good. That's a good investment. Because who's going to emigrate to England and do all the jobs, idiot? You need Indian people to come there. Because think about it like this. This is what I remember years ago someone was saying that like there's too much immigrants or like immigrants are a strain or something. And someone explained it to me like this, that like actually immigrants are a huge tax base because we basically let in people over 20 who could just come in and get a job, or they're going to finish school and get a job. So statistically, you're inviting in a working class, like you're basically inviting in working class people who are going to immediately just start contributing to taxes, as opposed to if someone in Canada had a kid, then you got to put them in public school, you got to pay for 18, 20 years of like school, and like they're not going to work. They're not going to pay taxes back in until they're 25 at least, or 22, significantly until they're 25. Better for the country to just bring in an MBA from India, because they'll just get here and start working on something that's worth 100,000. You know what I mean? So if you're making that much money, yeah, send back some aid, idiot.
We're also set to give them £57 million next year, but I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that, don't you? We should not be giving money to countries with a space program. As a rule, if you can afford...
Yo, free thinker, is this the video you're talking about?
...to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out. India reportedly has 229 million people living in poverty. According to the UN, it's the highest number anywhere in the world. It's also the 5th largest economy in the world with an annual GDP of around $3.75 trillion. I would like to congratulate India on landing on the dark side of the moon.
Here's the original video sent to us by CEB Applejack59 with that ranch. Thanks, baby.
I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021. We're also set to give them £57 million next year, but I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that, don't you? We should not be giving money to countries with a space programme. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out.
Jeez, this guy is really... Watch the language, sir. Please. CEB Applejack 59 says, didn't India assist the UK in, like, mad wars? Yeah, dude. World War I and II, it's insane what India gave them. Millions of lives. Millions of Indian soldiers. Some people say that the wars were won by African and Indian soldiers, basically. Because basically Europeans were in the management more positions. And the poor people fought. But then a lot of African and Indian soldiers had to go and fight for that shit. Because when the white man goes to war, the whole world has to go to war. If Yemen and Saudi Arabia have a war, that's just their own little war. But if Ukraine, Russia go to war, the whole world has to be in it. White people cause world wars, is what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. They're doing it because they're in charge. I'm sure if brown people were... if whoever wins does this, I guess. And I think what's going to happen is now India's going to take over and India's going to be the colonizer and they're going to make everyone go to war probably with China probably. Because when India becomes the dominant power and there's like some terroristic China left, by that point, I think in 10 years China's going to collapse. India's going to be number one. That's what everyone's saying. Then India is going to be like, we have to have a world war against China. Everyone has to join. That's the problem with this kind of thinking, is that you do it, now other people have to do it. Foolish. But it's true. The Anglo-Gurkha wars, the Anglo-Burmese wars, the first and second opium wars, and both world wars, they owe India. Yeah, 100% they owe India. They owe it. That's why it's called brain drain. Yes, return British Museum loot. Yes, Brazil. Yes, we have to fight back, Brazil. We have to fight back. More like UK media? Sam! That's a pun. We got a pun. UK media? UK media, more like UK media. That's good. Baba Roche, British time to pay for motherland. Yes. But India doesn't need it. India does not need their handouts. They will be number one. The Hindu is rising, people. The Hindu is rising. That's why it's such a great time to support a digital ashram like ours. You know what I'm saying? We are at the cutting edge of what the world order is going to be. It's going to be people like me in charge. Okay? It's going to be Hindus like me in charge. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, make a donation, support this ashram, this Church of Loving Kindness. We are building a beautiful ashram here for the community. What righteous topics today. I like that we got into some colonization stuff. Let's do one more, actually. And then we'll do a happy clip and we'll call it a day. I actually found this Palki Sharma clip. And she's got the best rips, right? You guys watch Palki Sharma? She's an Indian. She's from India. Let's all watch it together, actually, on this screen. As a community. Let's watch in the community. There we go. Let's watch it on this side, people. All together now. Oh, there we go. Look, everyone's included. Okay, hold on. If we put this under here, we can watch a little bulky. No, put it underneath. There we go. We can watch a little bulky together, and then we can do a final analysis on this. And yeah, that's a nice screen there, isn't it? That's a nice frame. Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. Let's watch this. Why is the West questioning India's achievements? India on the moon, why is the West so bitter? Fucking bulky, man. Bulky brings the shit. Dude, I love this.
Let's start our next story with a cartoon. It's from the New York Times. It shows two men sitting inside a room. It's called the Elite Space Club.
Whoa, dude, racist. This is from the New Yorker? Hello, sir. Can I come inside? And he's got a cow. This is an attack on the Hindu. This is an insult to the Hindu, is what this is. Who made this cartoon?
One of them is reading a newspaper. The headline says, India's Mars mission. It is shown as a man with a cow. India is shown as a man with a cow knocking on the door. I'm sure you'll agree that this is racist and in very poor taste. I'm sure you've seen the cartoon before, including on this show. We've been asking for an updated version. Will the New York Times publish something that is more in tune with...
New York Times? I mean, okay, if... Yeah. New York Post, GB News, New York Times wrote this shit? What the hell is wrong with them?
India's march.
How has New York Times made this? They made the Indian guy and he's not even wearing pants. He's wearing this like wraparound. Oh my god, dude, guys. New York Times. You gotta fix it. You gotta fix it. Now that Bulky's on the case, man.
We've been asking for an updated version. Will the New York...
Wow. This is how you know she's a powerful pontificator, because she, you know, you got to put it on the line, right? You got to start demanding changes. You can't just talk and talk. You got to be like, are you willing to make the change and give it an update? That's
New York Times published something that is more in tune with reality. We're not holding our breath for a response because the West is back to playing its old games, discrediting India's achievements and questioning India's motives. Let me lay out the facts first. Chandrayaan-3 is an Indian mission in space. It is the world's first to...
You know, I love Bulky, but she talks a little slow. Let's speed it up.
...land on the moon's south pole. This is a fact. As we speak, the Pragyan rover is out exploring, looking for traces of water. This too is a fact. Also a matter of pride for India. A big achievement for science and a gift to the world. But how have they responded? With skepticism, condescension, and their trademark hypocrisy. Listen to this.
As they spend their money on space probes, as they spend their money on the military, they spend their money on nuclear weapons. Still half of the country lives below the poverty line. But the biggest injustice of all...
As if you guys don't have poor people. What, you don't have poor people, idiot? That's your whole voter base, isn't it? Come on, dude.
That was Nigel Farage, the man who heralded Brexit, a politician known for his scandals and his hypocrisy. He says India is wasting money on space missions. Why? Because half of its population lives in poverty. The racism is shining through. Also, the utter disconnect with reality. We're happy to share some facts with Mr. Farage. It may have slipped his notice that India is the world's 5th largest economy. It is, in fact, ahead of his country, the United Kingdom. But it seems he can't get rid of his colonial mindset. I mean, how can poor India have aspirations? How can a former colony reach the moon before the so-called Great Britain? And since he's so keen on discussing priorities, we have a question for him. Why does Britain keep paying for the royal family? Their citizens cannot afford their electricity bills. Maybe help them, instead of paying for the king and his retinue. Let me show you another bizarre comment. It's from a man called Patrick Christie's. He calls himself a journalist, and this is what he said.
He calls himself a
Congratulate
journalist.
India on landing on the dark side of the moon. I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021. We're also set to give them £57 million next year. I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that, don't you? We should not be giving money to countries with a space programme. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out.
You heard him. If you can afford to fire a rocket, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out for foreign aid. Those were his words. But is India going to the UK for foreign aid? Let's have the answer from their own Foreign Office. This is what they said, and I'm quoting. Since 2015, the UK has given no financial aid to the government of India.
Oh my God! Come on, man. This is why conservatives are so vicious, man. He just made it up. They're not even sending aid to India. Oh my God. The evil of the conservative. Do you see how evil they are? And they're masters of the media. They can manipulate the media so good. The guy just made it up. They're not even sending aid to India. And the guy goes, we'd like to have that back. Since you're gallivanting around in Mars and space missions and nuclear war, maybe it's time you give the foreign aid back to England. They didn't even give any foreign aid.
Most of our funding now is focused on business investments, which help create new markets and jobs for the UK as well as India. This is what their Foreign Office has said. Christie's also mentioned a figure, £2.3 billion. What about that? It's from a report by the UK aid spending watchdog, ICAI, and Patrick Christie's clearly did not read the whole report, but we did it for him. The figure is not...
Bulky. Dude, she's the best.
Not foreign aid, it includes investments and revenue through multilateral channels. The same report notes that this aid is a tool of UK foreign policy, basically a way to stay in New Delhi's good books. Also, no one is begging for it. But who will explain that to the West? In their mind, this is still the Raj, And these are comments that would have made Churchill.
The Raj is like the what they called their management of India. They called it the Raj because India was they already had a king. Raj means king, or kingdom, I guess in this case. So if you were running it, they would call India like the Gupta Raj, the whatever Raj, whoever's like running it. But then when the British came in, they were like, no need to be mad at us, just new management. You had the Ashoka Raj, now it's the British Raj. That's what she's calling the Raj. She's like, to them it's all Raj.
New Delhi's good books. Also, no one is begging for it. But who will explain that to the West? To their mind, this is still the Raj. And these are comments that would have made Churchill happy. But we're happy to burst their bubble. This is the 21st century. India is a global power, not a former impoverished colony. In 2011, then Finance Minister of India, Pranab Mukherjee, told the UK that India does not need its aid. And London admitted that the aid had no...
Rips, dude. Sorry, I have to pause it there just to say, like, man, this is what's so great about Bulky is that, look, 6-minute clip, right? You've seen what happened so far. She set it up. She gave you the information. Now it's time for the rip. This is the dark night of the soul. Now it's time to attack and to stick the landing. And she always sticks the landing, man. Her final rips is really the highest. Like, it really is, the best punditry in the game. The highest morality you're going to get out of this. Take it in. It's going to raise the vibration. Watch this.
The Raj. And these are comments that would have made Churchill happy. But we're happy to burst their bubble.
This is the final rip.
This is the 21st century. India is a global power, not a former impoverished colony. In 2011, then Finance Minister of India, Pranab Mukherjee, told the UK that India does not need its aid. And London admitted that the aid had no impact on India's development. Now, India has landed on the moon, and British influencers say, return our aid money. If you're going down that road, let's start with reparations. Let's start with the colonial loot. Return that money first. And we have the bill. Some $45 trillion. That's what Britain looted from India between 1765 and 1938. And this is just an estimate. The actual figure could be much higher. But even this, 45 trillion, is about 15 times Britain's GDP.
Rip it.
How about London returns this money first? Instead of discrediting India's achievement with juvenile conspiracy theories, look at this one now. It says, India faked the moon landing. What do you even say to this? I don't have a rebuttal, just this video. It shows the Pragyan rover rolling out of the lander, moving on the surface of the moon, leaving India's mark literally and creating history. We know all of this. We don't need validation from the West or cartoons from their press. But we must set the record straight. We need to take control of our stories, we say, else we'll be held hostage to narratives created by others. We'll be trapped in their version of our truth. For traces of water.
Fucking rips. I gotta start ripping like this, right? I gotta end with... I like how she ends with the final line and then the logo just comes up. That's it. Oh, sorry. Oops, what happened? No.
Moving on the surface of the moon, leaving India's mark literally and creating history. We know all of this. We don't need validation from the West or cartoons from their press. But we must set the record straight. We need to take control of our stories, we say, else we'll be held hostage to narratives created by others. We'll be trapped in their version of our truth.
Boom! Drop the mic. That's it. That's all you need.
And with a cow.
New York Times. What do you guys think? Is this racist? Okay, let's make a new poll. By the way, the last poll we did Trump go to Epstein Island? We got 66% yes. Wow. So first we had 75% yes. After a little discussion, went down to 66. 66% of people still think he went. Okay, that's fine. That's great. That's great. Let's do this. Is the NYT... New poll up, people. What do you guys think? Is this racist? Is this a silly little fun time? It's just, I can see how someone would be like, it's silly, it's fine. The Indian guy, the British guys. Okay, if you're going to have the Indian guy with this, have the British guys eating fish and chips and... No, have the British guys like fighting over a football match. Then I think we're even. You know what I'm saying? If you put your guys as these sophisticated... Oh, I read the newspaper. Like, I'm so sophisticated. And then this guy's in the, he's wearing the dhoti, which is basically like an Indian wraparound, which, you know what? That's something to be, the turban and I don't have a problem with the outfit, actually. But if he's going to come in with a cow, why does he have a cow with him? What are you saying here? Don't you know the Hindu is rising? Do you not know, New York Times, that the Hindu shall rise? And these things will not be forgotten. So, look, Bulky issued the statement, and I'll double it here on the drip. New York Times, we want an apology for this. What the hell is this shit? Update it. Have an animal on their side, or maybe get rid of the cow. But also, no, wait a minute. If they're wearing bow ties too, why do you have this guy dressed like that? Like, you should have him dressed like a politician. Politicians are not walking around wearing this. You know what I mean? So, fix it. What do you guys think? Where are we on this? Oh, I'm going to end the poll. Boom. Let's end it. Bing, bang, boom, right there. 100%. 100%. So we've seen what is righteous and what is not. Thanks for coming, everybody. I got to get out of here. I need to study Hindus more. They have the rant game on point. Dude, Bulky Sharma? Dude, okay. You know what actually is worth watching? Is Bulky Sharma's talk about France. Bulky... This is actually relevant to today's episode. Let's watch a little bit of this, and then we'll come back. Okay, so let's take a look at this. How did France colonize Niger and West Africa? Let's take a look at it, shall we?
Ending death. It was July 30th, 2023, just weeks after the military coup in Niger. The army supporters gathered at the French embassy in Niamey, hundreds of them. They set fire to the embassy's door. They also burned the French flag. Back in Paris, President Emmanuel Macron was spooked. He ordered a full evacuation. Around 600 French nationals lived in this country. All of them were pulled out. This military coup is definitely anti-democracy, but it's also anti-French. All symbols of France have been targeted: their embassy, their flag, and also their military base. But why the animosity? And why towards France and not other countries? The answer lies in Niger's history. In fact, the history of West Africa. This region was colonized by France from the late 19th century. They became independent after the Second World War, but unlike other colonizers, France never left. Their influence and presence continued to linger. Why?
Applejack. And let me tell you something else about her. Dude, Applejack, when you see her rips on Ukraine, you're going to say, She's got the rips on Ukraine, dude. No sympathy for this Western bullshit narrative. No sympathy for, of course, sympathy for the Ukrainian people, but no whitewashing, NATO involvement, what the West has done there over the years. No Western supremacist angle from her on the Ukraine war. 0% Western supremacist. Pro-Ukraine, of course. Russia, Putin's bad for invading, of course. But then after that, living in reality, fully in reality. Oh, her Nord Stream 2 pipeline coverage? It's basically like, yeah, the Americans did it. Which we know they did.
Why is that? Time for a flashback.
Let's continue.
Let's begin from the 16th century. That's when France became interested in Africa. The reason was slaves. The French were the third biggest slave traders. They took around 1.3 million Africans to their colonies in the Americas. Around 200,000 people never made it. They perished at sea. As the slave trade developed, France needed ports. They got one in 1659 here in St. Louis in Senegal. For a long time, French interests were limited to coastal Africa. The interiors were untouched. But in the 19th century, that changed. There were two reasons for that. One was the domestic rivalry back home. The European powers were already competing with each other. Africa became a new theater. And reason number two was resources. Europe needed to feed its expanding industries. They zeroed in on this area. It was called the Gold Coast. There was gold, oil, and much more there. The French expansion began from Senegal. In 1854, General Louis Faidherbe was appointed governor. He quickly got down to business. Under his rule, French control was extended to Gambia. But his ambitions were bigger. He wanted to conquer the Niger Delta and Mali. His government was not so keen, though. They thought it would be too expensive, so the expansion project was paused. It would resume in the 1880s. This was the beginning of the scramble for Africa. No shadow wars anymore. European armies were marching across the continent.
1880, not that long ago. 140 years. We're not talking about they did this so long ago. This is very recent. And just this whole attitude of like, oh, it's over now, just to get over it. 1880 is not that long ago.
They were picking off countries one by one. This inevitably led to fighting between European powers, so the German Chancellor proposed a plan. This man, Otto von Bismarck, he brought all the European countries together in Berlin. In 1885, these countries signed the Berlin Act. It formalized the scramble for Africa, and the logic was quite simple. Instead of fighting each other, let's carve up the continent. Each country gets its own colony. And no, the Africans were not consulted. In the 1880s, almost 80% of the continent was ruled by the locals, kings, sultans, and tribal chiefs. By 1900, it was flipped. Around 90% of Africa was colonized by Europe, and Niger was part of this. In 1899, two French officers were put on the job. Captain Paul Vollet would lead this mission. And
this is where it gets vicious. This is where it gets vicious. And this Macron going to I forget which country, but I think it was Niger or Gabon, and being like, oh, I gotta make sure you have air conditioning here. Not my job to make sure you have air conditioning. Piece of shit.
Second in command was Julien Chanoine. Both men had one thing in common: their bloodlust. They set off from Dakar in Senegal. Their job was this: explore Chad and Niger, gather local intelligence, reach the Sudan, and return. Basically, create this ribbon of French territory, from Senegal in the west to the Sudan in the east. Captain Voulé had
it gets so vicious. This is 1900 now. This is 1899, 1900.
a reputation. He led the French conquest of Burkina Faso in 1896. He was ambitious and brutal. His expedition to the Sudan is called many things: the Killer Trail, the African Apocalypse, the Heart of Darkness. Gives you an idea of what went down. It was one of the most violent and bloody episodes in colonial history, not just in Africa, but the whole world. Boulé's mission was not well funded, so at the first village he reached, he demanded porters. He needed people to carry things. When the locals denied, he razed the entire village, around 100 people wiped out. It was a sign of things to come. Boulé often refused to feed his camp followers. When they complained, he killed them. Men, women, and children were bayoneted to death, not shot, bayoneted, because Boulé wanted to save bullets. Such massacres followed him everywhere. It was so bad that word reached the French government in Paris. Boulé's own soldiers were horrified by the violence. Some of them deserted. When Paris got to know, they ordered Voulé and Chanoine to be arrested. They deputed a French officer from Mali.
Wow.
He followed the expedition's trail to catch them. What he saw was blood-curdling. At one village, around 1,000 corpses had been left in the open. Bodies of young girls were hanging from trees. People were terrified by the French flag. It was a sign of impending death. The bid to arrest Voulé and Chanoine did not work. In the end, both were killed by their own soldiers, but the mission continued. French troops marched through the Sahara and secured the region. Their African project was complete. It looked like this: a federation of 8 territories: Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, and Niger. The capital was Dakar. This whole region was called French West Africa. Fun fact, it was 8 times bigger than European France. So how did they control it? The same way they captured it, using brute force. France did face rebellions in the first decades after the conquest, like the Tuareg rebellion of 1916. The Tuaregs are an ethnic group living in the Saharas. In Niger, they live in the country's north. When the Tuaregs rebelled, France crushed them. Summary executions were the norm. It was through these crackdowns that Paris held on to its colonies. Many of them fought wars for France. Around 2.5 million Africans were part of the First World War, another 1 million in the Second World War. These people were not French citizens, they were French subjects. And that equation changed only after the Second World War. In 1946, Niger, along with other colonies, became overseas territories. They got seats in parliament, and with elections came political parties. The most important one was the PPN, the Progressive Party of Niger. 2 men came to dominate this party: the radical Djibo Bakari and the moderate Hamani Diori. They were cousins, also rivals. An important moment came in 1958. France had adopted a new constitution. Its colonies now had to vote on it, sort of like a referendum. If Niger passed it, the country would remain in the French community. The cousin politicians chose different sides. The radical Bakari called for a boycott, but Diori said, let's vote yes. He did not want independence yet. He wanted more autonomy within France, and he prevailed in 1958. Around 72% of Niger's citizens voted to approve the constitution. He also became the new president. But the tide was slowly shifting. Dissent was growing in parts of Niger, especially the northern deserts. So in 1960, France had to give in. They agreed to grant independence to Niger. Diori was elected president again. He banned all other parties, cracked down on rivals, and ruled like an autocrat. Now, normally the story would end here. But in West Africa, it does not. France began acting like a toxic ex, hanging around too much, or meddling for no reason.
Wow.
This policy has a name too: France-Afrique, a sphere of French influence in West Africa. It was the brainchild of this man, former French President Charles de Gaulle. He asked his advisors to build up France-Afrique in 1962. And how did they do
62?
that? By building personal networks. France propped up leaders, often dictators in West Africa. They gave them military support, a little aid, and a whole lot of French glamour. What did they get in return? Resources and influence. More than 1,000 French companies operate in West Africa. They have the 3rd biggest investments. First is America, second is Britain. They also have soldiers there. France has deployed 3,000 troops in Africa. Around half of them are in Niger. Their job is to fight terror groups, but you can see why this is problematic. Imagine Britain stationing soldiers in India. Terrorism or not, it's an affront. From the 1980s, French presidents have promised to dilute
100%.
France-Afrique. Macron has done so too, but their actions suggest the opposite. I have some trivia for you. 14 countries in Africa use the same currency. It's called the CFA franc. It was created back in 1945 before African independence. But even today, 14 countries use it. And I'll tell you how it works. West African countries deposit 50% of their reserves at the French treasury. In return, they can use the CFA franc. Its value is pegged to the euro. France says the currency brings stability to West Africa, but it also brings trauma, the trauma of a colonial past. The CFA franc is often called monetary servitude. It is one of the many reminders of French colonialism. Now you know why people in Niger dislike France. They plundered and razed entire villages, raped and mutilated women and children, imposed a colonial currency on them, and most importantly, refused to leave. France is a strange case. Most countries are blamed for their colonial policies, but France is also blamed for its post-colonial policies. Of course, that does not justify the coup, but it does explain why a lot of people support it. President Macron has always had a taste for foreign policy. He wants to leave a mark on the world. Maybe this is it. He could be the president who destroyed France-Afrique. Mali has moved away from French influence, so has Burkina Faso and now Niger. He may not have intended it, but that could be his legacy.
Damn, good rips, man. Of course, you have to have Gandhi in there. British. That's great. You see that? I'm bringing the righteous clips here, people. It's very righteous. Very righteous. You know, we are a church of loving kindness. Support this digital ishram. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's read some comments here. What are people saying? Doesn't France use the euro? Yeah, they do use the euro. I think so, yeah. Their currency is pinned on France Afrique, and thus most of these countries don't have an independent currency either. Yeah, they don't. Actually, a lot of times when they try to get an independent currency, the French government will kill that person. And that's what people say happened to Gaddafi, because he wanted to make his own currency. He wanted to go independent, and they took him out. Applejack, that's fire, right? Should we do it? You know, this really pisses me off, the fucking Nord Stream pipeline shit. That really pisses me off that the Americans blew it up, tried to pin it on the Russians, can't even blame it on them. I feel like Balki Sharma's got a rip on Nord Stream. Let's do Balki Sharma Nord Stream real quick. Let's see if it's not a half an hour. Let's do a quick rip, and then I got to get out of here. Perfect. Applejack, this is for you, baby. Thank you for the $5 donation, by the way. I appreciate you. Yo, look at this. CB Applejack 59, $5. Let's honor him. Let's honor him in the congregation. Remember when Chad said BRICS would never be a threat to the West when I was screaming about their rise? Applejack, I just got sent a video. Peter Zeihan, I guess he's like some kind of political scientist, economist, whatever. It's a soft science at the end of the day. I don't think what he's doing is hard science. But he basically lays out this whole thing of how BRICS is nothing. It's weird, man. People are in their Western-centric view. They just think like, well, I mean, what's good is a dollar if it's not my dollar? Only my dollar is worth anything. The other people are making their own dollar. It's not gonna be a threat. I think they're in denial. Honestly, I think a lot of people are in denial. But just like they're in denial about who sabotaged the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, let's take a look at this. Palki!
Hello, namaskar. This is First Post, and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.
Amazing. Best commentary you're gonna get. She could be the best pundit in the world, and most viewed and best, because she's big in India without doing any. She doesn't do the garbage news reporting. She does tight news reporting, powerful pontifications, powerful rips, and in India, and she probably is the biggest pundit in the world, maybe in the history of the world. That happens, man. You know that last strike that happened in India, that farmer strike in India? It's like the largest workers movement in the history of the world, just because of the numbers in India. So she might be the best pundit she might be the biggest pundit in the game. The biggest sheer numbers, might be the biggest pundit in the game. It's like when they compare a basketball player to a cricket player. The cricket player always has 200 million more than the basketball player. We don't understand. We really, this is why it's so important that you guys tune in every week. We watch these clips together. We need to understand that the Hindu is rising, people. The Hindu will be the number one. We're living in the American empire. Soon we will be living in a Hindu empire. And I don't want nationalism and I don't want religious autocracy, but it's something that we need to get prepared for. It's coming, and it's coming in the next 10 years. Let's take a look at this. And this is their top pundit.
Happy Holi to all those of you who are celebrating, and happy Women's Day.
Holi is a Hindu celebration, by the way. You see that?
A lot to celebrate and even more to work on. Tonight on the show, we bring you the latest twist in the Nord Stream saga. After blaming Russia and then America for blowing up the gas pipelines, Western reports now blame Ukraine. We'll bring you the latest findings. Also a report on Chinese spies in space and what South Korea and Japan are doing to counter them. Plus one more sex scandal in the Roman Catholic Church. This one casts a shadow on the record of Pope John Paul II. Well, frankly, we're losing count of the number of cases of pedophilia in the church and the many, many cover-ups. In Georgia, the parliament saw utter chaos and protests spilled out onto the streets. We'll discuss why. Also, how the side hustle is becoming a big trend among the Gen Z. We'll discuss all of it. First up, the headlines. Russia has captured Bakhmut. That's the big claim made by Moscow's Wagner group. It will be Russia's biggest win in 6 months. Zelensky said Bakhmut's capture would give Russia, quote-unquote, an open road to move deeper into Ukraine. No end to violence in the West Bank. At least 6 Palestinians killed in
Okay,
Jenin.
this isn't really about this is not about the pipeline. I felt like she did a good rip on the pipeline, and maybe I just don't have it. G20 summit, Europe rejects Delhi declaration draft over. Look, we're going to get some more clips, some more Palki Sharma. I can't believe Palki Sharma's not talking about the Nord. Maybe I got to put Nord Stream. No, Palki. Because I put France in there. That's a mess. Okay. Did U.S. bomb... Okay, did Ukraine sabotage Nord Stream pipelines? Let's see this
Remember
one.
the gas pipelines to Europe that were blown up last year? Those were Nord Stream. Turns out there could be a Ukrainian hand. The Western press has published a series of reports. They say a pro-Ukrainian group sabotaged the Nord Stream. The attack was carried out by a team of 6. They sailed to the Nord Stream pipelines, they planted the bombs, and then they blew up the pipelines. Was this a covert operation by Ukraine? Honestly, you cannot put it past any of these, including Ukraine. Ukraine has conducted some very ambitious operations, like blowing up a key Russian bridge in Crimea. And in recent weeks, they made more bold attempts, like the attempted assassination of a Russian billionaire. Saboteurs crossed into Western Russia. They attacked Russian villages, and Moscow blamed the Russian volunteer corps for this. No proof of their ties with the Ukrainian military. This is what reports say, that they are linked. Irrespective, one thing is quite clear. The Ukrainians are capable of carrying out sophisticated operations. Remember the gas pipelines to Europe that were blown up last year? Those were not...
I feel like she did some rips on it. And I can't find them right now. Nord Stream sabotage, Russian ghost ships to blame.
But Ukraine is just one battlefield. At the end of the day, this is a larger conflict between Russia and the West. It is as much a political fight as a military one. And it has many dimensions and flashpoints. One of them is the Nord Stream, the gas pipeline between Russia and Europe. The one that was sabotaged last year. The pipeline was blown up. It's not clear by whom. In the months that followed, we've seen claims and counterclaims. Multiple suspects have emerged. Pro-Ukrainian groups, the United States of America, Russia, they've all been blamed. Yet we do not know who did it. And now there is fresh evidence to add to the confusion, courtesy Denmark. Their military says that they have some photos. They haven't released the photos yet, but reports say these photos show ghost Russian vessels near the pipelines. They were there just 4 days before the explosions. And this is a new twist in the Nord Stream saga. We'll tell you what we know, starting with some context. The Nord Stream pipelines were sabotaged on the 26th of September last year, 26 September 2022. Look at these pictures that came out immediately after the explosion. The water above the pipelines was bubbling. Below the surface, they had been underwater.
Biggest environmental disaster, actually, over in history? In history? I think this is the biggest environmental disaster in history. And it's crazy nobody wants to talk about it. It's a cover-up.
The Nord Stream has 4 pipelines. They supplied gas from Russia to Germany. Out of the 4, 3 pipelines were blown up. And these were powerful explosions. They were detected by nearby seismology stations. This, like I said, happened on the 26th of September. 4 days before this, on the 22nd of September, a Danish vessel was in the sea. This was a patrol vessel. It was called P524 Nymphen. Now, reports say this patrol vessel took 112 photographs. It spotted several Russian vessels near the blast site. And what did Denmark see? Apparently, there was a unique Russian vessel here. It was called the SS-750. And the presence of this vessel raised suspicions because this vessel can be equipped with a small submarine. Apparently, Denmark has 26 photographs of this specific Russian ship. And there's more. This comes from Nordic public...
Weird, I wasn't expecting this. I was really expecting her to be like the Ukrainians did it. But this is interesting. I mean, I don't know. If Balki's saying it, she might be saying that those guys planted the evidence, though. Who knows?
Broadcasters. Apparently, there are 3 Russian ships near the sites. There were 3 Russian ships near the blast sites. Reports say these were special ships, and they could perform underwater operations. The vessels sailed with their position transmitters off, but their movements were being tracked. How? By radio communications from Russian naval bases. I know what you're thinking. The story just keeps getting murkier. I'll try and declutter it. Was this the first time that Russian ships were in these waters? Certainly not. Russian maritime activity is not unusual in the Baltic Sea. They conduct patrols and military exercises all the time. Russia has economic interests in the region, so it's not rare to find Russian ships here. What about Denmark's evidence? Well, the photographs are hardly a smoking gun. They are, at best, circumstantial evidence. And they're not even out in the public domain, so it's hard to make an assessment. Multiple probes are underway to ascertain what really happened to the Nord Stream pipeline. Different players are approaching this from different angles. Russia blames the West. The US is looking into the Ukrainian angle. They claim that pro-Ukrainian groups were responsible. Germany is conducting its own investigation. It is focused on a yacht. It's called Andromeda. Apparently, it was used to conduct this sabotage operation. There were 6 people on it. Some of them apparently had Ukrainian passports, and Germany believes that they may have sabotaged the Nord Stream. And what's making this worse is the silence of all these investigators. The probes began months back, but in all this time, officials have not said anything officially. And until they do, everything is in the realm of speculation, and new theories will keep adding to the confusion.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more, I think it was just the wrong clip. It was the wrong clip. But, yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. I gotta go. A lot of shows this weekend. It's gonna be a good weekend of shows, actually. Actually, no, this weekend I don't. I'm looking for shows. I think I might, if I can get on these 2 shows, I'll be good. I was actually supposed to go to New York for Fashion Week, but that fell through. It's fine. God is great. And so now I'm like last second looking for spots in Toronto. So if anyone's got stand-up comedy spots, let your boy know. I'll come out there. I'll come through. And then probably going dancing. Probably do a party after. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Follow my Instagram. I'll post any shows that I'm on and any parties that I'm going to over there at Fade to Brown. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, comment, make a donation. Support this digital ishram, this church of loving kindness. And this is Upbeat Happy Synthwave by New Dawn right here on the Rip and Dip on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. CB Applejack 59, you are loved. Jan Chor, P. Morton, what's up? Sophie Gibson, Nachama Gluck. Nachama's here. Nachama says, I'll start calling it the Old York Times because they represent an old world, I think. Yeah, I guess. It's not New York. It's Old York. Did some good polls today. Got some donos today. Appreciate you. Free Thinker, thanks for coming. Diligent Dabber was here. Miss you, baby. Thank you for that message. We do appreciate it. A lot of great comments in the comment section. John Connor, thank you. Mitch Vintage, Relic, One, John Cooper, P. Morton, who has been here. And remember, you are loved. You are all just little...
Wow, we're just a little buttercup, aren't we?
Steve Bearwald was here. Thank you for coming. Comedy Fan, Engflix, Jai, and the whole restias. Thanks for coming. Oh, and then Uchia420 came in early with the comments. Pre-show comments. Pre-show comment congregation. You know I like that. So thanks for coming, everyone. You are loved. And I'll see you next week. Peace. There we go.